Of course.
So I think the most common analogy to what you're describing, we call it the content treadmill.
Yeah.
And so like we're just on the treadmill. So we're having to continue to spin our legs, spin our wheels to create, knowing that if we stop, if you just straight up stop running on a treadmill while it's still going, guess what? You're ejected off, right? And if you catch it on video, you might go viral. But that's how it feels, and that might not be the reality of the situation. Like it's embedded in kind of the content creator mind that is the reality of the situation. Is that if we shut down, if we just stop our legs and get ejected off the treadmill, there's no getting back on.
Welcome back to the show. There's no telling where we'll go. So come and share a laugh on the Imp and Skizz podcast.
I got a hair out of place. I'm just gonna yank
Come on,
it.
Man.
I'm just gonna yank it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Ow, don't.
Just gonna yank
Don't yank it, dude. It's fun. Let me
gonna
look at
yank
it.
it?
Let go of it and let me
Just
look.
gonna yank it out?
Let go of it and let me look. Oh, it's
See it?
bad.
See it?
Yeah, it's awful. Lick your finger and just smooth it.
No, I want to yank it out.
Lick and smooth.
It's getting yanked. Oh, I can't.
It's not going to happen.
It's not coming.
Dude, those follicles are too...
Come on!
It's not going to happen, dude. Fine. The follicles are too
You
strong.
know how hard it is to fix your hair when it's backwards? It's backwards.
And smooth.
Look, that hair's not even the
Have
right
you even
length
licked
hair.
Yet? Just lick it.
It's the wrong length.
Lick and smooth.
This hair doesn't belong. All these hairs over here, these are long. All these hairs over here, these are short. This guy in the middle.
If you lick and smooth, he can disguise himself as a short one or a long one. You did get it.
See the follicle?
Ew, I see it.
See the follicle?
Yes. It looks like a golf tee. You better stop it. I was looking. All right. All right.
I wanted you to catch me like acting like I was eating it.
No, it's gross. All right. Hey,
but it is back there somewhere.
Let's get into it. We're talking about how our season of Hermitcraft is going so far.
Thanks. You're going to leave all that in.
I might. That's why I'm diving in, because I don't know if I want to or not.
Okay.
I'm thinking. What do you guys think?
Oh.
They're happy I left it in.
They're
all right.
happy.
So.
Yep. I fixed the hair. You guys would have complained all about it.
Well, the back is a complete mess.
The back's a complete mess. I need a haircut.
Yeah.
I've been so busy. Have you been busy?
It's been insane. And
I can't find time to get a haircut. I had to write down every minute of every day just to find a slot.
Yeah.
To get a haircut.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. It's been crazy, but it kind of feels like the last 7.5 months have been crazy. Because that's what it's been.
Yeah, since the season started.
Hermitcraft season 10 has started. Can you guys believe that?
I don't understand it's possible.
Have you done the math? Have you thought about how long season 10 has been going on? Of course you haven't, because you only think about yourselves.
Oh my God, shut up.
I'm just kidding.
No.
But that realization hit me. That was a joke.
Yeah,
that realization hit me
that
we're 7.5 months into the season. I literally remember like running off to find Magic Mountain or the Cherry Blossom Hill or whatever we call it. We still don't even have a name for it. 7.5 months. We can't come up with a name.
Magic Mountain. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, Magic Mountain. Yeah. Magical Mountain. I don't know. Anyway, 7.5 months. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it.
You've been a hermit for 7.5 months now.
I can't believe it. And I can't. It still feels like the season just started, but we wanted to talk a little bit about how the season is going, because I think that we both had some expectations that are either being expectations of ourselves that are either we've met or have not met, or different expectations have revealed themselves in different opportunities. And before we get into this diatribe of what we're about to do, the disclaimer I want to give, and divert your eyes to the center camera, we are not complaining.
No.
Trust, every day I talk about how overwhelmingly blessed I feel for the opportunities that we've been given.
Yeah.
But we do find ourselves in a space to where trying to juggle it all is posing some serious challenges. And because you want to do it all. That's what it is. We have many different projects in flight and many things that we're counting on and doing. One thing I didn't see coming from a Hermitcraft standpoint I don't know. I didn't have actual expectations because I had nothing to compare it to. This is my first season. But I came in knowing sort of a loose plan of what I wanted to do. I didn't really think that there was going to be something called the Popo that was going to be awesome. I never expected to be a lawyer at some point. That was a lot of stuff going on there. And now I'm hoping that stories continue to ensue from both of those characters as well as the main Skizz character. But my pyramid thing, I still stand by. It's a very good idea what I'm doing. I can't touch it. I can't get back to it. I can't touch it because any little bit of time I have to even get onto the server to keep going and do all the stuff that I love, I'm wrapped up in these other projects, which are great, and I'm very lucky to do. But it's like, wow, there is being stretched too thin, and then there's whatever this is, and that's where I'm struggling.
It is funny because like you're like, oh, I never imagined I was going to be part of the Popo. Well, I could have never imagined seasons ago I was going to be chief officer of distraction in the mycelium resistance. Who would anticipate that being a thing?
Yeah,
you know, so stuff happens in Hermitcraft. Welcome to Hermitcraft.
Yeah,
where you know we go on tangents and stories come out of thin air, and we yes and them to death maybe sometimes, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah,
is keeping that loose and not so structured, because you know. Otherwise, what I would do, because this is what I do, I would just be like, this is my plan, and I shall stick to it, and anything else going on around me, I will ignore because I have my plan, right? And so, you know me, that's typically how I work, so I've had to learn how to be, like, okay with those, and now we're going this direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it can be frustrating, and I'm going to talk a little bit during this podcast about some of the frustrations I am feeling now that I've kind of like woken up to the fact that we are 7.5 months into the season, and in my head, my plan was I will be done with my whole Cyberpunk city and all the games and everything in 6 months, is what I told myself in my head. And that's obviously passed. And now looking at where I am, I realized, you know, I'll be lucky if it's done within the next 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to take some change in order to make that happen. And I think I'm going to talk about that in my next Hermitcraft episode as well, because I think the viewers kind of need to know where my head's been this season, because we came in this season with a very different attitude on how we wanted to collaborate, how we wanted the season to kind of the pacing of it, and how we made content together. We wanted it to be more I don't know, raw's maybe not the right word, but back to grassroots that we've talked about on the podcast before. And I think that's been a bit of a struggle for us because, you know, it's gone well. I think the interactions have been great. The courthouse stuff's been great. The Popo's been great. The stories that are coming out have been great. Magic Mountain's been great. We've got some really cool stuff going on. The server has been in a little bit of a lull lately. That happens during summer. We can dive into that. But I think at the same time, it was like we are not relearning, but it's almost learning a different style of carrying ourselves through a season, because we chose to be different than the season before. You know, being different. What do you say about being different? Different's not always
not better. Better is different,
right?
Yeah.
And so we're learning what that means during this season, and it's taken a little while for us to get our legs. I think it's been great so far, but now we're at the point to where we look back and we're like, oh, this feels so different from what we've done before, that we have to do this. And this is kind of like a checkpoint for us right now to say, is this good? Do we carry forward doing the same as the last 7.5 months? Or do we need to make any sort of changes? Is this working? You know, and that's what I want to talk about with you. You know, does this feel like it's working for you?
Well, it depends on your definition of working, right? In regards to, am I having a good time? Am I feeling creative? Am I creating a career for myself and doing all this? Am I leaning? Because you got to remember, when I started the season, I wasn't a full-time content creator, and now I am. So that's still a new arena I'm trying to familiarize myself with. But so if we can identify what working is, and if working is, I get to be creative, I get to have a good time, I get to create a product that I can give the world, and the world is enjoying it, and I'm continuing to grow, then yes, this is working. But in terms of, am I living up to my potential as a hermit right now? I would argue that it's not quite working yet, and I need to find that zone. Now, I think what I'm seeing here, and again, I wasn't in the previous seasons, so I can only assume some things here, is we're seeing a lot of the pendulum effect. I think that what happened is this has been a far more relaxed season, and everybody seems to be enjoying it. That's what I'm really happy about, is all the hermits are really liking this very lax feel, and it's more of a leaning more into the family and the recreation and the vibes than the mega builds and the trying to drop jaws and stuff. And I think that's good, but I think the pendulum has kind of overswung and maybe we're a little bit too relaxed. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing here. And maybe we just sort of, I have to dial it back a little bit and maybe get a little bit more deliberate with the things that we're doing, and it'll feel better. Case in point is, okay, I had no idea I was going to be a lawyer, and we had this fun, like, I think it was on stream when I became Cleo's makeshift lawyer in a little argument as a joke, turned into this whole thing. Okay, well, let's make the skin for it. Let me go ahead and prepare a case. Let me depose Ren and depose Cleo, and let's go do this. And it was a great episode. Hey, I think there's some legs here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build myself an attorney office. So I build myself an attorney office, and there's weeds inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Am I kidding me? Am I serious? Like, I was like, because I'm going to build an office because there's more grounds for people to come hire me to do some stuff. And this could be a lot of fun. There's a really, really fun thing to do here. I created a character that was well received and has grounds for much more traction. And then there's weeds in my office, and that's not good. Right. So I'm watching B-Dubs' episode. I don't remember which one it was, but he's like, I think this is Skizz's attorney's office. And he walks in and he sees the weeds and he goes, huh. And then he just cuts to his next scene, which is a great cut. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to use that. I think there's a time in my future, spoiler, that I'm going to probably leverage that moment of I'm going to have Skizz sitting down watching TV, watching a B-Dubs episode. And when that scene happens, it's going to cut to my character, and my character's going to go, oh, and it's going to cut right into me making the interior and making this a real business. That's fun. That's a fun thing to do. I had that idea about 3 weeks ago.
Isn't that crazy?
I haven't been able to touch it because of all the other projects that we got going on. Now, I can't say this enough. Everything we're talking about, I'm literally suffering from too much of a good thing. That's how what I feel like. I could not be luckier, but I just don't want to let people down. I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to not reach my potential because my time management was poor. And that's coming from a guy who's been a program manager for 20 years. Like, you'd think I'd be a little bit better at this, but this is a different facet of it that I'm trying to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's talk about the projects just in case people aren't aware of how much we got going on. Well, what we're doing now is obviously one, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
The Imp and Skizz podcast does take, on average, half a day a week or so, maybe a day. Between recording and editing,
and then the editing.
You do the editing, I do the setting up. I mean, so there's we'll call it half a day, right? Because we've gotten pretty good. You think between the recording time and the editing time?
I think between the recording time and the editing time, I would say probably almost a full day for me.
A week?
Yeah, a week.
Okay.
A week.
So
but almost a full day.
There's one of your 7 days, assuming you don't spend any time with your family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hermitcraft on average takes me 2 full days to do a Hermitcraft episode. I typically put somewhere around 20 hours into each episode.
Okay.
So if I work 2 10-hour days, which are long days, that's 2 days a week. And my goal has always been to get at least 1 a week. That's not happening at the moment because of other things going on.
Because of the other projects.
Right. We stream Phasmo. We got to stream Phasmo.
We got to stream Phasmo.
We love it,
but let's peel the curtain a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. We have to do this. If we're going to be honest in this podcast, we have to do this. And I'm actually going to use this camera. Why do we, if we're sitting here sounding like we are doing poor time management, why are we playing Phasmo? Do we love the game? We love it. Like, there's part of me that thinks I could just only play that game.
Yeah. We
love that game so much. But also, then there's the business side of it. It's doing very well. It's doing very well.
Yeah.
And so that's hard when we both have bills to pay and we have families to feed. Like, we have to pay attention to where the numbers are. We have no choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's one of those things to where if either one of us, you two, you're not out of the woods of this. If either one of us gets too reckless in regards to only trying to do the things that are super fun or whatever you want to call it and ignoring numbers and stuff, we're going to be right back in the cubicle. That's just the way it works. If we want to be honest on this podcast, we got to be fully honest, right? So and keep in mind, I'm still trying to, I still feel like I am late on projects of my old job that I haven't worked at for over a month now. You know what I mean?
Completely let go.
Yeah, 20 years of conditioning will do that to you.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm getting better at it, but I still feel like I owe. So, but my point being that it's still fresh in my mind that my foot's not completely out of the industry yet.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what that is. So I want to be honest about this, but yeah, we got to do Phasmo. And
then we like doing the one-offs, we call them.
the one-offs, yeah.
The one-offs. Guess the build.
Yep.
That's come out by the time this has come out. There's another really, really cool project that's going to come out in a few days.
Yeah.
And so
A few days from this having released,
Yes.
this podcast having
Yes.
released. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having to do all the time math in my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you guys are watching this, if you watch it on the day it comes out, in 2 days' time, you're gonna see what we just spent a massive amount of time on.
Yeah.
And so that took obviously time away. I mean, that one took at least 3 or 4 days away of a week for me.
And that was crazy because
yeah.
we were talking. So, Guess the Build is, from a recording standpoint, a pretty light lift. It's like what 4 to 5 hours of recording. And for the record, I'd also like to say this. I have a lot to be thankful in my life, a lot. And being a part of that core group is way up there on the list, right? It's you, me, Green, Joel, Jem. Scar is part of that group. If he hasn't been in Guess That Build yet, but I will pull him in. We got Martin to come do a one-off with us or whatever. Being a part of that little, Jimmy, jeez, I was like, my brain's like, dude, you forgot somebody critical. Jimmy, you're like my favorite, so just don't think too much into that. Those are, I'm so blessed and so lucky to be a part of that. And for that reason, I also do this thing to where, so it's the same, like I love my wife dearly, right? We've been married 23 years. That doesn't mean that it's locked in stone. You know what I mean? Like, I still want her every day to feel that how much I appreciate her. So to that same end, this group that we do these things with, I'm loving every bit of it. I'm never going to say no to anything that we're doing because it's just so great. And what we do to support each other, the reason it's 4 to 5 to 6 hours of recording is because we do 6 different separate versions, one for each person.
Yeah, to make sure everybody gets something unique and good out of it.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an awesome, that is a team atmosphere to its very best. Like,
yeah, if you think about it, so a 6-hour recording, only one of that was for you.
That's right.
The other 5 hours you're giving
for somebody
time.
else.
Yeah.
And we don't do it reluctantly. We love to do it. We love to do it to the point to where there's been times where it's like, listen, we might not finish. We might have to come back another day. And those who already got theirs, if you will, I got my video. Nobody has that attitude. They're like, dude, whatever you need from me.
Yep.
And that is something that is not only to be celebrated, that is something that is to be held on to. Because I think a couple things are happening. We get to enjoy the ride, but we're also creating a barometer of what a successful team in this atmosphere is. And it's sacrifice. That's what, I mean, think of football, think of a blocker in football. They don't get the glory of holding the ball or getting into the touchdown. They sacrifice their body to block somebody from stopping their guy. I mean, that's what sacrifice is. That's what team is. And when they do it, they stand up and they feel amazing. And that's how we feel in these moments, is to be able to sacrifice our time willingly and with a smile. I'm so sorry. See, I'm so busy. I couldn't even mute my phone. Let me go ahead and
Somebody's
do
at
this.
your door. That's what that means.
Yeah. So now we're going to do these things, and the Guess the Build is an easy recording session, very heavy lift editing time. The next project, which we can't talk too much about.
I know, because it's not out for 2 more days.
So we can't do it a little bit, but we will just say this.
It's kind of the flip side of that.
The upfront work, massive. And this put me way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm going to get that opportunity, I'm going to take it. And I encourage everybody to do that, because that's how you grow.
Yeah, get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what it was. And to me, it's like when we have these things that I can like really give it my all, when I can push myself to do something I haven't done before, get uncomfortable, get in a space where I'm learning new things. Learning new things takes so much time. And my clock is constantly ticking because I know how much we have on our plate, and it can be frustrating. It can feel stressful. I've lost sleep over this project in particular, big time, because of how stressful it was. But I knew the whole time I was learning and it was taking all that time, that learning I was going to be able to take forward with me and everything else I do from here on out in the world of Minecraft and content creation. And that's only going to make me better moving forward, faster moving forward. I'll get that time back tenfold, because I'm going to be that much better and faster moving forward.
Yeah.
And to be able to put that time into something and have something that you're proud of at the end of the day, like all the stress and all the time spent making that project come to fruition, worth it. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Regardless of how well it does.
Yeah.
And I really hope it does well because I'm proud of it. But and I think that it was a very different thing, and I love to see that. You know, like for me, I came in Hermitcraft season 3. This is my 7th season of Hermitcraft, and I'm always trying to do different things.
Yeah.
And so whenever an idea comes about that I'm like, never done this before, it excites me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so those are the things that I want to continue to just remember how that feels, and remember that that's my goal for even inside of Hermitcraft.
Sure, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every season of Hermitcraft, I try to think of how can I approach this season differently than the last season. What can I do different? What can I do different than the other hermits?
Yeah.
You know, you want to not only stand out, but you want to feel fresh.
Yeah.
And I want my content to feel fresh to the viewers. And so this project did that for me, and I'm hoping everybody is ready for it, because there's going to be 6 really cool videos coming out in a couple days.
Yeah.
So clear your calendars.
Yeah. But keep in
wow.
mind, it's going to be not 6 on your channel or 6 on my
Right.
channel. It's going to be 1 for each, the way
Yep.
we do things. And this is basically, we had to each do something and like create something that was going to end up creating an experience, if you will, for the other 5.
Yep.
And wow. Like I was nervous when we did Build and Seek. And I came out the other side of that being like, you know what? I don't hate what I made. I like it. I like it. I got a little unlucky on the paths you guys chose, but that's okay. I was like, I got to the other side of it being like, okay, I think I can do stuff like that. And I enjoyed it. Right now, this was that on steroids. This was like a bigger version of it, if
Yeah.
you will. And I was just like, dude, there's a part of me that wishes I caved and let the discomfort take over and say, I'm out. You know what I mean? I thought about it.
The thought came in my head quite a few times during that, or even before I started, that maybe I shouldn't commit to this project. Once I started learning more about how much work it was going to be and how much time it was going to take and what it was going to entail that I knew was not my specialty, I had many thoughts of maybe I shouldn't do this. But again, that pull of like that kind of family feeling and this group that we've kind of created organically pulled me in. I'm like, nope, I'm not leaving that. I'm not gonna bail on them, and I will go through whatever discomfort I need to go through. I don't care if I wake up at 3:30 in the morning stressing about it every night.
Well, you probably don't want me to overhype, but what you made was just like, whoa. I mean,
Thank you.
Whoa. It was so good. And I should not overhype it, but I was just like, what? Now, here's the deal. You know that you can't really surprise me anymore because I've known you for so long. So when you do, it's typically indicative that whatever it was a huge step up for you. And I felt like that's what this was. Not just in the build. The build was unbelievable, but it was the inner workings of it, if you will. That's what I was.
Part.
Yeah. Whew, it was good. It was good. You're going to like it.
Thank you.
So that was another project that we had going on, and that's just been sort of, but the whole time, I don't know if you're like this. I'm sure you are. The whole time, my brain's like, dude, I mean, don't you miss Hermitcraft? I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I want to be on it right now.
Yeah, I get in my head and I start I go to Reddit. There's a Hermitcraft subreddit. Are you aware?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I look at it every night. I look at it every single night. Like I have like a certain time when I finish dinner and I sit on the couch and we're deciding what to watch for the next couple hours to wind down our day. And I go and I look at Reddit just to see what they're saying about Hermitcraft that day. And every night I'm dreading the post that says, feels like Hermitcraft season 10 is dying. Every night I've worried that I'm going to see that post, and I'm worried that I'm going to see that sentiment because I have not been there. And I feel like if that post is made, I'm part of the reason why they feel that way because I'm not there making videos, being there to have the collaborations with my other hermit friends.
Yeah.
And because we're pulled away by all these things. And there is some merit. If anybody posts that, don't get mad at them.
No.
There is merit to feeling that way because we're in a time right now, and this is actually typical of Hermitcraft, where it's summer. It's like the end of summer, winding down. It's like a lot of hermits have either had their vacations or are doing their last bit of vacation before summer ends. They're visiting family. They're doing IRL things. You know what I mean? Or going out and touching grass because the weather's actually nice. Stuff like that. It happens this time of year where there's a little less activity. And it's kind of like, I would like to call it kind of the calm before the storm. Because calm, and yes, we'll be honest, from a revenue standpoint, we're about to get into the holiday season. And so from a revenue standpoint, there's more pull for us to create more content in the next few months because we're going to be compensated better for it. That's just human nature. We have bills to pay, like you said. We'll peel back that curtain. And, you know, we just came off of this kind of laxed period where we've all had a breather, a chance to recharge our batteries, a chance to touch grass and connect with our friends and family and all that. And so those last couple of months have been quiet on the server. And when it kind of snowballs in a way, when you start to see the server get a little quieter and quieter, your pull to get on the server becomes less because you know you might be alone. You might log on the server, be the only person. There's no one to talk to, right? Might as well be playing single player. That's not the point of Hermitcraft.
Right.
Especially the point of this season has been to come together and have moments and share time with each other and share jokes and laughs. And when no one else is around, that's vacant, right? And so that's kind of happened the last few months, and I've definitely felt guilt, and I've definitely been dreading that post. It's inevitably going to happen, I'm sure, before things start to spin back up, like I'm sure it will. So I guess that's one thing I just wanted to kind of point out there is because maybe not everybody understands. It's not that the hermits are tired of making these videos or being on the server, or we're getting lazy because we've done this so long and maybe we're in places now where we don't have to or something. It's not about that. It's just there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
You know, you and I just talked through a whole bunch of stuff we've been doing. Add the summers and vacations on top of that. It adds up, you know.
Dude,
and there's a lot of hermits.
What time is it? What time is it?
It's 10:45 our time.
So almost a week exactly from this minute, we're not even going to be here.
Yeah, we're going to TwitchCon.
We're going to be in TwitchCon.
Yeah.
Getting ready for MCC live. Like, these are
we didn't even talk about MCC. We got to train for a in-person Minecraft competition. We're on a team that if we don't suck could win.
Well, I can't even. Oh my God! We trained yesterday, and it reminded me how bad I am. Dude. It was so frustrating.
And now I know how competitive you are because you broke your mouse during the training session.
Yeah.
And now I'm sure what you're feeling is for every minute between now and the time we're in that arena competing, I should be practicing nothing but MCC.
Kind of, but it's not about. So the thing is, the competitive nature of me has been dormant for a long time because it used to consume me when I was a kid. And I don't care about winning. I don't care. What I do care about that I've never been able to surrender is letting other people down. And the other half of our team are like
amazing.
Yeah. And I suck.
They gave us 2 S tiers to cancel out the 2. I don't even know how far.
You don't put 2 S tiers on a team.
How far does the tier system go down? Is it D, E, F? I don't know. We're at the bottom. You know, let's call a spade.
We don't
even
get to use the word tier.
Let's call a spade a spade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you and I are not the best when it comes to you know, and I've gotten better.
And you're colossally better.
I've gotten better because I've had the experience.
Yeah.
But we come from the same, cut from the same cloth as far as like what it takes to get that skill.
Yeah.
And so it's just I've had more reps now at this point, which you'll get over time. And so now it's like, yeah, we're put in a spot where it's like, yeah, let's not let them down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to let them down, but I also know I have a lot to do before we leave.
A lot.
You know, and that as much as I would love to do nothing but be on the MCC Island training server for MCC, between now and then, I can't do that.
No.
I can't. I still need to do all these other things to keep all the things in motion that we have going on.
Yeah, we have deadlines. So the Guess the Build that comes out tomorrow, but came out several days ago,
yeah.
as in regards to when this comes out. That was that's been that was a heavy lift. I've been editing that, finished that last night. That's all well and good. The next big project that we were alluding to, we got to get after that edit, no question. I can't leave without getting another Hermitcraft out, or at least making a lot more traction on that. And I'm going to blink, and I'm going to be in San Diego. And well, there wasn't a whole lot of time to train. Hey, two amazing people who are on my team, I'm so sorry that I'm going to let you down, but I'm going to do my best. Like this is, it's really been, it's been pretty crazy, you know, but it's all good stuff. It's just, I find myself trying to find my legs in regards to how can so you know that feeling as a kid when you're running and you just were running a little bit too fast and you actually fell because you were running so fast, your body got ahead of you. That moment where the lean is starting to tip a little bit beyond what your legs can accommodate. I feel like I've been in that moment for weeks and weeks of, I'm either going to catch up or I'm going to fall down. But like that sensation right there has just been life. And what it looks like in the real world is just the 10, 12, 14 hours a day, like always working on the weekends.
Which is not sustainable. You know, it's not that we started this podcast to get into topics of, you know, burnout and
no. I don't I don't even feel burnt out.
Yeah.
I don't even feel it.
But
I feel
staying
lucky.
in that gear for too long will inevitably lead that way.
Of course.
So I think the most common analogy to what you're describing, we call it the content treadmill.
Yeah.
And so like we're just on the treadmill. So we're having to continue to spin our legs, you know, spin our wheels to create, knowing that if we stop, you know, if you just straight up stop running on a treadmill while it's still going, guess what? You're ejected off, right? And if you catch it on video, you might go viral. But that's how it feels, and that might not be the reality of the situation. You know, like it's embedded in kind of the content creator mind that is the reality of the situation. Is that if we shut down, you know, if we just stop our legs and get ejected off the treadmill, there's no getting back on. You know, and if you get back on, it's a very different treadmill. Yeah, much smaller one probably.
A lot slower.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the case. I think that's just a culture thing of this job, if you will. But there is some merit to it. You know,
I
like
think that
there is a they're not posting anymore. They must be done, or it's easy to forget something when it's not there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's we've talked about this. I don't think there's some merit to it. I believe it fully. I believe fully that almost no matter. I believe somebody, even like, let's take one of the biggest, like Mark Rober, right? That guy is just it. Like he makes productions, and people can understand it might be a month or two before one comes out because what he puts together is no joke, right? But if it took him, let's say he took like a 2-year break, right? We're going to do everything's perspective. Or let's say it was 2 years perspective. I believe the viewer counts, and when he came back and did a video, it would be there, but I believe it'd be hover around 40 to 50%.
Yeah, I was going to say half.
Yeah. Like, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a really big deal. This happens so organically to where you don't even have to take a break for that to happen. You know what I mean? Like it's common. It's human nature to lose interest in things. It's human nature to need a lot of stimulus of mind, of all that to stay engaged. This is normal. What we're competing against is that the amount of stimulus available to everybody these days is growing exponentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's an ocean of entertainment out there for people to choose from.
Yes.
And to grab their attention at all is a miracle.
I have been doing a much better job reading comments. I've been really like pulling that lever a lot more to just be like, I'm going to read a lot more than I ever have before. And I am blown away on how the first like 50 comments of every video are the amount of people that are hyped that there was a Skizz video that came out. So in this ocean of stimulus, they're excited that one of my videos came out. That's a W, dude. That's a huge win because at their fingertips, there is endless entertainment available to them, but they've been waiting for mine.
They're excited that yours is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in some cases, it's the timing's the timing of being able to provide that entertainment to escape something is like perfect. You know, I get a lot of that. Like, oh, perfect timing. I just had mouth surgery and I'm stuck healing on my couch for the next day. And now you gave me something to do. And that makes me feel good too. It doesn't make me feel good that they're in pain.
No,
but it makes
but
me feel good that I can help relieve them a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or that I do something that helps at all. You know what I mean? If I do anything that's helpful in the world, that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very blessed to be in the spot we are. It's just, I think it's good to come clean at how much we have going on, how difficult it can be, and how these thoughts can easily creep into our minds and affect some of the things and the decisions that we make in everything we do in this job. You know, I think a big part of this podcast, not that it was meant to be, has been a lot about peeling the curtain back on what it is to be a content creator. Because, you know, if you go to a classroom of 8-year-olds right now and ask them what they want to be when they grow up, I bet you anything we're probably at 50% are going to say YouTubers.
Yeah.
I bet you anything we're getting close to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think it's fair to make sure that people are aware of what that means, you know, and what it takes to do that. And then maybe, you know, all the things that they could be juggling and we'll have to learn and put up with. You know, there's a lot of things we have to put up with, you know, and then the mental struggles. Am I doing the right thing? Am I still relevant? Am I still good at this? The imposter syndrome, all those things. We've talked to this to death in a lot of podcasts. So I won't continue down that path, but it's easier for people to understand. I want to be a firefighter. I know what that means as a kid for the most part,
they
right?
do. For the most part,
as they get closer, that like you don't have to be in that space to then learn what it is. It's just this is so new. I think only the people that have gotten in the space and dealt with it have fully understood what it is.
Yeah.
Like when I was like, and not that we have I'm going to sign up to be a YouTuber now. We had to learn along the way, and eventually we were lucky enough to get here.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't think I would have ever envisioned the day I made up my mind that I was going to make a YouTube channel and start posting videos. I would have never imagined the amount of work and things I had to learn and go through to make this a reality.
Yeah.
You know, and so I do like talking about it. I think it's worth talking about, especially if parents are out there that have young kids that are putting this job up on a pedestal and thinking it's just going to be as easy as, you know, playing a video game and that's it. It's not. I think it's good to have that reality check. But let's reel back a little bit because we have gone that. Let's get back to the subject here. Hermitcraft, right?
Yeah.
This is about Hermitcraft.
How's your season going?
How's the season going? So let's just go back. Let's get back in your mindset of day one, right? Day one, we all get together after a break. Your first time, Joel's first time. We're all back there for the initial recording, and you feel that energy.
Yeah.
That energy of day one is always something special, right?
Yeah.
So as the season goes on, what happens to that energy?
I feel like I get to feel like I still have it because this is my first season. So I still feel every time I pop on, I'm so excited to be there. I have so many different avenues that I want to explore that I end up kind of feeling paralyzed in regards to what direction to go. I knew I wanted to do Maslow's pyramid, so I was very excited about doing something like that. I knew I wanted to be. I wanted my shtick, if you will, to be the guy whose builds are a bit cerebral. Like they make you think about things much bigger than Minecraft. And to me, I was going to start with Maslow's pyramid, and I'm doing it. And I'm nowhere near where I should be on that thing. That thing needs a whole lot of TLC because I've been pulled. We talked about it. I've been pulled in all these different directions, and willingly and happy to do so. The energy is still there. I'm still excited and I still want to keep, and I still have things that I get to feel pride for that I'm doing on the server. I am also getting a rude awakening that if I thought that there was a delta between my skill set and others, which I did, it's even bigger than I thought. I'm looking at what Cub is doing, and bro, I don't understand it. I don't get it, dude. I thought
you experienced some of his labyrinth just by watching.
Just
others,
by
right?
watching,
Yeah.
dude. And okay, let's do this for example. Let's just talk about the explosion, the firework explosion above the shopping district that he made. Okay, let's just do that. I feel like I could take all season trying to make just that. Like this was just like a little project that he did, and then he did it, and then he was done, and now we have it, and it's gorgeous. That would I look at that now because I know what it entails to do those things. At least I'm aware of the overwhelming amount of temporary blocks that not only did he have to place, but he had to tear down. Like I don't get it. We go to his labyrinth. I kind of think my little journey on layer 1 of Maslow's pyramid's kind of cute. It's neat. He builds the labyrinth, and I'm like, what am I dealing with here? This is next. It looks
Welcome
like a
to
team.
Cub.
Yeah, is that what it is? What's welcome to Cub?
Cub is the biggest grinder on Hermitcraft by far. Like he does so much every single season. In season 8, mind you, season 8 would be over by now. This season, if it was season 8, it'd be over by now. Season 8 lasted less than 7.5 months, if I remember correctly.
Oh my goodness!
So imagine the season ending already.
Oh,
and how you would feel.
I would feel terrible.
Exactly. Me too. My Cyberpunk City is nowhere near what I envisioned. And if the season ended tomorrow, I would be traumatized. And so would the viewers.
No plans to end the season, by the way.
Let's be clear about this. This is not season 8 timeline for this season. But, you know, there is the thought that because of the way we do it with Hermitcraft, it's like we check with each other every once in a while to say, you know, how are we feeling about the length of the season? And at some point in time, the discussion could come up that, I think we're about done. And then there might be 1 or 2 people that are like, oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it's a group decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if 90% of the group feel like, yeah, we've had a good season, it's time to start afresh. And then there's that 10% that maybe not. They're gonna, you know, and that happened to me in season 8 actually. Season 8 was so short that I didn't finish my factory. I set off on a massive project that didn't get finished. But during season 8, in that short time frame, to get back to what we're talking about, Cub made an entire biome on the server. Like imagine the size of a biome, right?
What?
He made a custom biome. It was like lava, volcanoes, and stuff. It was crazy. There's a whole part of the server in season 8 that Cub did this crazy project, and it was the scale of it was absolutely massive, and he did it in I mean, it's not like he started on it day 1. He did it in a matter of weeks or months. You know, like
I don't understand it.
He's just insane. He's just insane. Another one that I've discovered this season is like Cub, Joel.
Oh, dude, Joel. Yes, dude.
If I could go back in time,
Oh
I
my
might
God.
not choose to live down the hill from him. Just saying.
Yeah.
Like to have his stuff be the backdrop of my unfinished stuff really feels good. You know, he's so incredible. He's so incredible. But at the same time, you know me, and it's inspiring. You know, we look at what Cub's able to accomplish. We look at what Joel's accomplishing. Many other hermits are accomplishing really big things.
Yeah.
And I look at that and it just pushes me. You know, like right now, my mindset is, yes, I've had very many distractions from my goals for this season because of everything we're doing, because we're taking a slower pace, and I'm just kind of rolling with the punches of whatever's going on. But at the same time, it's like I see that and I'm just like, I must finish my vision because I've let them down in the past. Like I said, season 8, I got the Willy Wonka factory. Looked beautiful. It's massive. Do you remember seeing that?
Yeah.
It was great. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
It was supposed to have cool stuff inside too.
Yeah.
And it did not.
It never got the stuff
it got very little love on the inside, just ran out of time.
Did you start a spin-off of Create Mod inside there?
Yeah, after the season was over,
Yeah.
I started to try to fill the factory out with all the you know, inside of a candy factory feeling with the Create Mod because it has much more moving parts and stuff like that. That series was short-lived because I didn't get the feeling I usually get from survival mode. I tried to play it in creative because I also knew that I had very little time to do that series because our typical time in between seasons is just a couple months.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just to give everybody a breather and try something different to get refreshed. And so I was like, oh, in order to do everything, I must do Create Mod. But then I started doing it and I was like, oh, this feels bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not getting a sense of good feeling, like the kind of feeling that we were talking about with the big project we were doing. And so I kind of dropped that. And so it never came to fruition. You know, I had season 9. I had some leftover projects didn't get done. I had a whole wing of my Dwarven Keep that didn't get done. Designed It was 100% designed in creative. I just needed to get on the server and build it, and I just couldn't do it. I had this grand vision for my industrial district that was going to look like a motherboard when it was done.
Oh, nice.
Everything was connected, and items were flowing to the CPU, and which was a big storage system in the middle. It was a great idea. It actually, from the sky, it had like i9 written on it, like a CPU like from Intel, but it was Impulse in season 9.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Love it.
Yeah, it was, but I never.
Those
finished.
i9s run pretty hot though, dude.
Yeah, they're gonna need a BIOS update.
Yeah.
So I didn't finish the motherboard. There's like it's like a PCB, you know, the PCB, the part of the motherboard, like just the platform or whatever, that had like a couple chips and transistors on it, and that was it.
Yeah.
You know, and so that didn't get finished. That felt bad. I built a ginormous shopping tower called iBuy that had 3 floors of stuff out of 7 done.
Yeah.
Like, so it's happened, and I know how that feels. I know how that feels to get invested in an idea as a creator and a viewer, right? As I present these ideas to the viewer, I paint this picture, right? And I'm painting it in their minds, but I never finish painting it in real life.
Yeah.
And that feels terrible.
Yeah.
And I could see why there's disappointment at the end of seasons. I could see why people struggle to get on board with the next picture I paint. You know what I mean? I start season 10. I've got an amazing idea. I love my idea, right? I love the idea that me and B-dubs are going to be building in a cyberpunk style that's never been seen before, dystopian cyberpunk. And there's lore to it. There's an incredible story that I had animated. I wrote the story. I had a voice actor tell the story in a very cool voice and whatever. And we put that out there, episode 19, I think it was called. And they abandoned the city, I think is what it's called. Anyway, episode 19 of this season. If you guys haven't seen the lore, check it out. It's a good one. And I painted the picture. And I painted that. It was a really cool picture of what this was going to be. It's going to be a big game, mini games inside of the game, and it all adds up to a big experience. And then I have been dragging my feet to get it done. It's been going the slow pace. I've been distracted. I've been making big holes in Magic Mountain and building a biosphere and another industrial district because I needed materials and shops and everything pulling in different directions. And meanwhile, the city's getting neglected. And I don't blame the viewer for at that point being like, he's doing it again. He painted this picture. He gave us this big idea. And he's at a pace now that it's not going to get done. He's going to leave it unfinished. And I'm going to feel unfulfilled. So I'm just going to not watch him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't blame them for that. They're
No,
absolutely
it's
right in
normal
feeling
human
that.
behavior, dude.
They're absolutely right in feeling that. However, there's one thing that's different this season in my mind. I'm not going to do that to them. I am now determined, and that's why when it's like 7.5 months into the season hit me and I realized that I didn't hit my goal of 6 months and this is done, that creeped into my head. I'm not going to do this to them again. I'm not going to leave them high and dry. I'm not going to have the season end without my vision coming to fruition. And now there's a fire under me, so bright and so hot.
Let's
that
go.
I have this not renewed energy, but a new focus on what I want to do now. And when we are back from TwitchCon, it's what I'm doing. I am going balls to the wall, and we are going to get the Cyberpunk City done, and it's going to be the most amazing thing. It's going to be the picture I painted.
Good for you, man.
Me and B-dubs were going after it. So that's where I'm at right now. And
all right. Well, everyone
I'm
just
ready.
heard you say it. Now you got to do it.
Now I have to do it, or else they leave them unfulfilled, and they unsubscribe at that point. I have no one to blame but me. You know what I mean? So that pressure's there as well. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
And I think another part of it was that the slowness of the season was me trying to prevent burnout. I knew it was a big project, and if I just went on it, there was a chance I would burn out and not finish it because of burnout. So that's actually what happened in season 9. I didn't finish all those projects. I literally had the Dwarven Keep done. That one section of it that didn't get done. It was built in creative. It was done. Why didn't I just build it on the server so I could be like, base done? Because I was burnt out. I would stare at the multiplayer server screen and I wanted to click Hermitcraft, and I wanted to get on and place those blocks. I couldn't do it. I didn't have the heart. It wasn't in me. I didn't have the drive. I was burnt out. And so instead I played Phasmo. That's what happened. That's literally what happened. Tango open decked out. I still couldn't get on the server.
Yeah.
I tried. I played a couple rounds of decked out. I couldn't get into it. I was burnt out. And I don't want that to happen. So I've been shielding myself for the last 7.5 months from experiencing that again. But I think the pendulum again swung too far.
Yeah.
You know, I'm over shielding myself. I can't not work on it because I'm afraid if I work on it too hard, I'm going to burn out. You know, it doesn't make sense.
No.
So now it's time to find that balance. I said, I'm going to go balls to the wall, but I also still need to keep a little bit of that shield up because I can't have that happen again.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now. That's pretty much my headspace on this whole thing. I'm very excited to dive back in. Been doing little bits and bobs on the Cyberpunk City.
I wonder if there's a world here where you can think a little bit differently in regards to what knob can you turn to either help the experience or make it a little bit more enjoyable. And a small example, I don't like reaching out to others or whatever, right?
Yeah,
so like
I have some thoughts on that.
Okay,
that
so
I've already explored a bit.
Like you helped me big time by giving me gunpowder for my mangrove farm, which I'm not a farm guy, and so of course my permit is the hardest tree to build a farm around, and so I built this it's a pretty terrible farm, but it's working, and because I wanted Tango to respect what I was doing, I didn't dupe the TNT. I've got real TNT, but in order to do that, I got a lot of the gunpowder from you. And I actually enjoy what I built. It's very sloppy. It's spaghetti code, but I like the way I did it. I like the fact that I have the TNT being spit out of a dispenser onto a redstone block that's on its own timer to a sticky piston that it pulls away at the right time and drops just the right amount. And I have the stuff I like what I built. I think it's neat, right? But because you helped me, I wanted the first shulker full of mangrove to go to you as a gift. And I don't know if you can use that in your city. Hopefully you use it in your city and it doesn't or whatever. But maybe there's pieces there to where as you design it, if there's something to where I don't know how else to put this other than you need something for it. And if what can the server do to make building that as close to creative as possible for Impulse?
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. Metro Mayhem, my first big game, and I chose the biggest game to start on.
Okay.
that was a mistake I made. The biggest part, because Ace Race in MCC.
Yeah.
It's a huge map that you run through.
Yep.
I'm building that experience underground, so there's digging. That's fun. And I've been on that for months now. I've been chipping away at it section by section. I have plans for an upcoming section that will involve other hermits and stuff. And so I think you've heard the plan. Were you not in that meeting?
I guess not.
You missed the meeting. Okay.
What? How long ago was this meeting?
It's probably a month ago.
How did I miss that? I should.
I don't know. Maybe you weren't listening or something. Anyway.
No.
Anyway, I have a plan, and it's going to be really, really cool. I'm really happy about this plan, but I've been stuck on the current section because I've got myself in the space where, you always want to get better and be better, and I take a lot of pride in my work, and I can get stuck in the details for a little too long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just trying to make every block I place the perfect choice instead of just going. Just put the blocks down and hope for the best so that I can continue. You know what I mean? Like, it's still gonna happen. I built the tallest building in the entire Cyberpunk city, and now I'm going back and looking at it and saying, no, it doesn't fit. It's not dystopian enough. Paint needs to be peeling. Lights need to be out. It's too symmetrical. Cyberpunk doesn't lend itself to that. It needs more stuff hanging off of it and more of a cyberpunk vibe. And now I'm going back and retouching stuff instead of moving forward because I need to be happy with it. And that slowed me down quite a bit. And that's typically the reason why I don't finish stuff is because I hyper focus on one thing, the details to a fault. So I need to kind of tackle that 90% rule that I claim I live by.
Yeah.
And understand there will be, because of how much needs to be done and how fast I'm going to need to move in order to make sure we don't have a season end with it not done, there's going to be some corners cut. 90% rule is going to have to be okay. I can't get to 100. If I'm going to try to get to a perfection, it's never going to happen, and I'm just going to be stuck in the mud. So that's creeped in now, and I'm kind of getting that understanding that I just need to let some things go if I'm not happy with them and keep moving. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be charging hard on this now.
Good.
And
Well, use people, man.
Yeah.
Use people. I would like to
I'll
see.
use your mangrove.
Yeah.
I got a nice box, a shulker box full of bone blocks for you.
Oh,
I collected
God.
last week.
Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
gonna take that
You're welcome.
and some more gunpowder.
Sure.
Now, I also every time I do, and I always got to go collect all the sand for the gunpowder.
Yeah, that's
too.
the part that sucks, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't find a desert with sand left in it.
Oh my
on the
gosh,
server.
dude! Seriously, I think I might just use a series of portals to just get way far away and find the biggest. The sand situation sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just rob Doc, because he's been having people pay him in sand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to do that. It'll start a war.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's fine with people messing with him. No,
Right.
And Doc is building. I don't know where he's at on it, but he's building a Texas Hold'em game.
Yeah.
I am pumped about that.
Yeah, you better be careful. I know you and your poker addiction.
It's going to be all right, and here's why: because I'm very curious to see what it is, and I stand by. If we do like a group game, I am very confident, and I could be wrong here, but I am very confident that nobody on the server understands Texas Hold'em to the level I do. But I don't care about that, because if we do a group game, all that's out the window, because you need to sort of be on a level playing field for the game to make any sort of sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be all about just really having fun and doing that whole thing and getting real skin in the game. But all I know, dude, is that as far as where I'm at, my level of expectation in regards to how much I'm enjoying this season has been far exceeded, because I came into this season with a ton of apprehension that all I was going to be doing was demonstrating to the world that I don't belong here. And every once in a while that creeps into my mind. But for the most part, I think what I've brought has exceeded my expectations in regards to how it's being received, right? People are loving my edits. They're loving the bloopers. They're like the idea of what my build is supposed to be. It just needs to be going quicker. They're liking the interactions, the fact that I can do the yes ands and create these different characters. I am enjoying this. My expectations have been exceeded, but in terms of how much progress I've made from a building standpoint, the pyramid is nowhere near where I think I was envisioning this thing would be just about wrapping up in regards to all the experiences inside, right? And it's layer 1's not even done. It is, but it's not. It needs more finesse. It needs polish, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So layer 1 needs polish. Layer 2 needs to get started. You know what I mean? And I got 5 layers to get through, you know? And so my
The
expectations.
good news is it's a pyramid. They get smaller as you go up.
They get smaller as they go up, right? But the from a conceptual standpoint, has the capacity to get far more convoluted. I don't fully understand how I'm going to accomplish love and belonging. I barely know how I'm going to accomplish security. Esteem has got me stumped. I'll figure it out. But that traction has not been done, and to what my expectations were supposed to be. My expectations from a technical builder have been slightly exceeded. I didn't expect to really mess with redstone at all. And having created that mangrove farm, even though it's a mess of code, I like it, man. It's mine. You know what I mean?
Learning stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm enjoying that experience. And I will say this too. I wish I didn't enjoy the redstone as much as I do, because now I just really want to learn it, but I don't have the brain for it, and I don't have the time for it. That's the other thing. We even talk about, right? Is, I got the mangrove permit. Now I'm going to provide mangrove. Well, I'm just going to man up and just do it by hand, and just, cause I can't build this farm. I watched several videos. I'm like, that's too complicated for me. And so I'm just going to do it by hand. It didn't matter how expensive I was making it. 2 things were happening when I was charging through the nose for mangrove. 1, everybody was complaining about the price. 2, everybody kept buying it. So I was getting static for the price, and I was always out of stock. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So I was like, I built the farm not to make my life easier.
If they're buying it, your price is fine.
Hey, that's what Tango said to me. He's like, dude, they're buying it. Don't let them give you crap. It was all in jest, and it was actually in my video, and it was really funny. But I built the mangrove farm not specifically to ease the burden of chopping down wood. I did it so I could lower the prices. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I did it. So I did. The prices have been cut in half, dude. They're 50% what they were. And so now that's all well and good.
Logo. Got you.
Buy one, get one. Oh. I remember the first time I heard that, I didn't even know what it meant. And the guy who said it to me, I was buying something. He's just like, he was like this like really like casual dude. He's like, "You got those on BOGO, man." And I'm all, "What does that mean?" He's all, "Buy one, get one." And I was like, "Oh, all right, that sounds good." So funny.
Like you went into some like stoner.
Yeah, he was like this like super chill dude.
That's funny.
But my point being that I've enjoyed that journey. I've enjoyed that. So I want to get better. But there's this other element of creating experiences because that's something I want to create experiences on the server. There is a huge treasure chest of skill sets that you need to have on this server to do it right. And I don't have it. I don't know how you guys are doing this in regards to the different sounds. I don't fully understand calibrated skulk sensors. I don't understand how you can make a sound and dictate the range of it.
Do this. Why don't you make a list of all the things you don't understand, and we'll just.
Well,
I'll just come by and we'll start crossing them off.
Okay, that's helpful. But that's like making a list of what you don't know. I don't know what I don't know. So every once in a while, I'm not even joking. Every once in a while, I'll stumble across something that I'm like, "What is that? I've never even experienced what this is."
Write that down.
Yeah, well, okay, that's what I'm saying. That's why I can't make the list.
We'll start a new segment, kind of the opposite of "don't be that guy." I'm going to come over and be that guy.
Oh my god,
that knows how to do custom sounds and invisible item frames and armor.
That's a good idea. I had the "don't be that guy" with Tango. We can do a "be that guy" with Dibbledot.
You're going to be that guy.
Yeah,
you're going to be
that
guy.
And just like that, we're off to another narrative.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, let me tell you this. We've been talking about the season and the summer, and how it's been a little bit of a lull, and there's a lot of hermits doing a lot of things. Actually, we talked about our stuff. There's hermits doing Satisfactory. There's hermits doing Vault Hunters. There's a lot of things that we like doing different things. It keeps our energy levels up. Okay, but what I think, and what I'm feeling right now is going to happen is we're going to enter like a new era, a new breath of the season. A rejuvenation is about to happen, and the best is yet to come. And I'm not just blowing smoke here. Because I've been through enough of these seasons. I know what happens. There's that peak when we start, and then it dips a little bit. Typically seasonal related, like I said, and then all of a sudden it comes back up. A new storyline emerges. People get excited. Hermits come back from whatever else they're doing, vacations and whatnot. And then they all get involved, and it's almost like season 10.5 will happen, and I think it's going to happen within the next couple months. I feel the calm before the storm. I can look up and see the clouds forming, I'm listening through the cracks, and there's whispers of things to come, and I'm very excited because, like I said, I'm going to go hard. That's my goal, is to go hard on the city, but also to go hard on what this storm is going to bring. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I think everybody needs to be aware of where we're at and what's coming, because I know it's coming. It's coming. Like I said, I'm not blowing smoke.
There's another whole element that we didn't even talk about here, right? Is that all the different things. So this is a more relaxed season, like you said, but what do? We filled our time with other things, right? We have other projects that are fantastic. And so that's all well and good. But as busy as we've been, a lot of the listeners and watchers right now are also aware that we are still people have things going on. Mm-hmm. Like me, I was still working a full-time job, and then making that transition was rough, and my daughter tearing her ACL and having 2 surgeries, and what you had going on with Prim and everything else going on in your life. I mean, this was like pulling us in all these different directions. Now, are there more things coming? Yes, because that's what life is. However, everything we have going on right now, you could cut with a knife. It's so tangible. You can feel it, right? The different projects and all of that also has end dates. So the amount of time coming back to us to give into Hermitcraft is coinciding with the timeline that you're explaining in regards to the calm before the storm. And I'm here for it, dude. I'm excited. Like, because when we get to the other side of TwitchCon, yes, more projects are going to come. I understand that. But something kind of unusual happened to where a lot of things happen at once. Once we get to the other side of TwitchCon, then it's going to to be like, dude, like a lot of dust has settled and we can just start charging forward.
I'm so excited for it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking forward. We've been through a lot, and I'm looking forward to TwitchCon, but I'm looking forward to it also being past us.
Yeah.
Because I know what's coming next. I know what my plan is next, and it's gonna be a very exciting rest of season 10.
Yeah.
And I hope people haven't given up.
No. Yeah.
It's really hard in this world because we can't tell the people that have given up that they shouldn't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people that are watching this, they're not the people that was like, oh, the season's dying, I'm out, because they're watching this. Or they're watching the videos, I should say, the Hermitcraft videos. So we can't tell them. We just need the hype to grow so that word can spread. And they can get word, and YouTube can see that and recommend it again, and they can see a thumbnail and a title that shows them there's a rejuvenation happening. Yeah. And then they can dip back in and be like, oh. Yeah. Oh, it's good again. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised you and I have not done more together this season. I'm actually kind of pleasantly surprised because I didn't want to come in and use you as a crutch, right? And so I'm like, I'm just going to go in and just try to fly on my own instantly. That's what I want to do. But whenever we did have like little collabs, obviously they were great or whatever, but I can tell you in full honesty, one of my top 3 moments this season was you and I getting Joel, that first kill on Joel. That was so good. It was so funny, dude. Yeah. And even like every bit of it, I had the best time editing that, to where you and I were doing the little mock-up where I was like down here and I was like, and I'll go, bam, 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 what's up? And just as you were walking. Yeah. And it's like, you weren't even a Minecraft player. You were a human. You're like, oh my God, dude, I was standing there. Like you see my little avatar come up and look up with its head, and I'm all, where are you? You know, and I'm just like laughing. Like, it's the way I did the replay mod with it was just so much fun, dude. It was just, so I think there's more room for collaboration with you and I. And then I also have this thing that I've been failing at that I want to just fully get out there. Not a full failure, but a kind of one, is that I had this thing that I wanted to create what I called the bit board, which it was going to be some sort of collab, no matter how big or small, that I was going to have with every single member of Hermitcraft, right? I did not want to get cliquey. I didn't want to be confined to a certain group. I didn't want to give the impression of I'm not interested in anything. I wanted to have a collab. And now that I'm thinking about it, I've had some sort of thing with every single person. I haven't, but almost every single person. There is a handful that I've had no engagement with. And I remember very early on in the season, Joe reached out to me and he's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing. I think he wanted to get the Wither Boss or whatever. He had this plan. And I'm like, I'm in. This is somebody I've never collabed with. I'm in. And we went and we did this fun little bit. I don't even know if I put it in my video. I just want to do, it was for his video. Yeah. And so I just want to do that. I want to be able to do some sort of bit. And I had this, like, didn't see it coming, had a bit with False, and it was fantastic. It was great, bro. Like, it was so much fun. She was streaming and I made myself invisible. And I was attacking her with wind charges, and it was great to watch her just look way off in the distance. Where is that? I'm like 10 blocks away, and watch her just like, and this is exactly what I wanted, right? And so she's doing this, and then she realized I'm invisible, and she almost kills me. I'm invisible, and she almost kills me. Yeah, so what I do from there is I solicit her to take some invisibility potion. Let's go punk Doc. And her and I had the greatest time together doing that. And so I want more of that. I really had a great thing going with Beef, and then we just sort of went our separate directions, and I love that, dude.
Beef's had IRL stuff. I mean, a lot of there. I have seen Reddit posts too where people were like, "What's going on with the hermits? Where are they?" And like, there's people that are in tune with what we all have going on in our lives that are like, "Okay, so I'll break it down for you. Here's what Beef's doing. He's got all this going on. They list it, and here's what this person's doing. Here's why this person's not on. This person's been on, but they're, and they list everything. And it's like, and then at the end of it, it's like, oh yeah, we're busy dudes. We're busy peeps, like it's crazy. Yeah. We get busy. But like I said, I think things are going to turn, seasons are changing. That's not the number. IRL seasons, the summer ending.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very exciting. So
Yeah.
buckle up, everybody. I'm just telling you now, buckle up because
I'm excited.
As weird as it sounds, 7.5 months into the season, it's about to ramp. I know it. I know it. If I'm wrong, fine. You can yell at me later for misinformation, but I'm not wrong.
No. I'm feeling it too. And I just want to end by saying this. I can't even properly articulate how thrilled I am with this chapter of my life. I am enjoying the ride. It defies description. I am very, very happy. And I'm super excited for the next week as these videos come out and we get to the other side of TwitchCon and what's waiting for us. Everything you just talked about.
Yeah.
Let's get back to work.
Yeah.
We're
going to hang out more. I'm going to teach you some stuff.
Yeah, I need to learn those tricks because I want to make that layer 1 a proper experience,
We
man.
will.
Yeah, I need to learn how to do it. Okay, we got to get back to work.
Yeah. I got videos to edit before TwitchCon. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.